I am pregnant. So crazy to say that out loud. Oh my God, I've been keeping a little bit of a secret from you guys, and it feels so good to be able to release the secret. Where do I even begin? So this is my pregnancy announcement, and I also thought I would just go over like my first trimester. I am 13 weeks and 1 day today. My new week switches every Sunday. And we had our 12-week ultrasound last Thursday. That was really what I was waiting for. Just make sure everything's okay with baby. And it was like the elective sequential screen. So crazy to be talking about. They test for like all the genetic disorders, and it's 3 parts. It's an ultrasound, a blood test, both of which looked great, and then another, well, I guess it's 4 parts. Another blood test at 16 weeks, and then an ultrasound at 20, which is like the level 2 where they really get in there and look at the nitty gritty. Everything looked great, and I just have been really excited to share this news with you guys. We found out in the beginning or like the 2nd week of December, and so I thought I would just kind of like take you through the process of how I found out, how I've been feeling, my symptoms, and just kind of like what it's been like. For starters, this was a little bit of a surprise. We were talking about starting to try again in the new year, like maybe January, February. So it just happened a little bit sooner than we planned, but nevertheless, we were really thrilled because we wanted to have one more. This is really bittersweet because this will be my last pregnancy, our last baby. So bitter because it's my last time being pregnant. And it's just kind of sad. It's like this whole world of pregnancy is going to be coming to an end after this. And it's also kind of bitter because I feel like being that it's my last and I'm so busy with the other kids in our life, I'm not really like in the thick of it. Like I forget all the time that I'm pregnant. I really have to like stop myself and slow down and remind myself like I'm growing a human. But our lives are just so crazy and busy, and I love it that way, but it's just so different from when I was pregnant with Addie, and it was like all I could think about, and I was like shopping and planning and diarying, and like it was just so different. But and sweet because I kind of, obviously we knew we wanted to have another one, but it was just a matter of like timing and when would be the best time. We have some trips planned for the year, so that was why we wanted to wait to start trying, because we're still gonna be taking most of all of those trips. So I'm just gonna be like super pregnant on some of them. Probably be a little bit uncomfortable, but I don't wanna miss them. I don't want the kids to miss them, so I'm going to suck it up. And also sweet because it's kind of like now I have an idea as to when this is gonna happen, and it'll kind of be like the final chapter, and then I can just move forward. Because for the last however long that we really started thinking about it, it was just kind of always a question, like, when are we gonna do it? When are we gonna do it? When am I gonna be pregnant? Will I be pregnant for this? Will I be pregnant then? Like, so it's kind of just nice to have like an idea now. So baby is due in August, and we are gonna find out the gender, but I think this time around, Dan and I go back and forth. Dan wants to find out again, like in the ultrasound, like we did with Bentley. And then we did like a gender reveal with our family and friends, so they didn't know, but we knew. But I kind of want to be surprised, like with everyone else. Not everyone, I don't think we're going to be doing like a big to-do again of the gender reveal, but just with the kids and our parents. And I kind of want to find out when they find out, so we'll see. To be determined. What can I tell you? The way I found out was because I'm like clockwork with my period and my cycle, and the day came that I was supposed to get my period, and I really wasn't thinking about it. Really didn't think we had any kind of like oops moments, not to be like TMI, but I thought we were being super careful. So it wasn't something that I was like worried about or even thinking about. But the day came and I didn't get my period, and I just knew because I always get my period in the morning on like the 26th day. So when the morning came and I didn't get it, I waited until the afternoon. It didn't come. So that evening I just couldn't take it anymore, and I went out and I got a test, and I tested. I didn't even tell Dan because I was kind of nervous myself, and I didn't know, I was nervous to tell him. So I took it that night, and I waited until the next day to tell him because I was so nervous because, like I said, it wasn't like planned, and it's not like we weren't preventing, but it was just like we hadn't talked about it. We didn't think it was possible, so I didn't know how it would be perceived, but obviously I knew we wanted one more. It was just like a matter of like when we wanted one more. So I took the test, and then I ended up telling him the next day and I was really nervous to tell him. I don't know why, because he was so excited about it. If I had it my way, I would have liked to like be due in the fall, not in like the heart of the summer. But other thing is, while I didn't feel pregnant or think about it or whatever, the end of 2018, I was just not myself. Like, I was not happy. Like, I don't want to say I was depressed, but I just felt like, I don't know, maybe you could call it depressed. Like, I just didn't have a drive. I felt lazy. I felt unmotivated. And I just chalked it up to like the in-between where you had like the holidays, the kids were home from school, Dan was off, our schedules were all thrown off and different. We were going here, going there, seeing family, and I just wasn't in my like normal routine, and I just felt like a bum, and I just chalked it up to like that time of the year where we really don't have a schedule. I remember a couple times like talking to Dan and just being like, I don't feel right. Like I don't know why. Like I felt really short fused with the kids. I felt short fused with Dan. Like the littlest things would just send me crazy. And Dan was even like, what's going on with you? And I was like, I don't know. Like I just don't feel right. I don't know, you guys might or might have not noticed, but I wasn't like as present on social media because I just wasn't feeling like motivated or happy, and I didn't want to just like come on and pretend to be happy, so I just didn't come on. Yeah, I felt kind of weird, so I for a split second thought like maybe there's a possibility, could I be pregnant? Could this be why? Because I know that, my hormones can go crazy when I'm pregnant. So, but I really was like, no freaking way. There's no way. So it kind of made me like, like I'm not crazy. I even so much as like talked to Dan about going to see like a counselor again, which I haven't done since like my divorce, but that's how weird and not myself I felt. But so this was kind of just like confirmation that I wasn't crazy, and that it was probably just my hormones, and it was more of just like a relief. As far as symptoms, I felt like perfectly fine, and that's the other thing too, like I had no pregnancy symptoms, not even like period symptoms. Usually right before my period I have like my boobs are sore, I'm a little bit crampy, emotional, and I wasn't having any symptoms at all. Even before I found out I was pregnant the last 2 times, I had like little symptoms, and this time I had nothing. But again, like our lives are so crazy that maybe I did it, I just didn't realize it. There was the holidays, like hustle and bustle, so I don't know, but I felt really great, and I almost didn't believe that I was, because I didn't feel any differently. I didn't feel like physically feel any differently. I've been super out of breath, and I'm actually shocked that nobody's picked it up in my videos. You have no idea how much editing I have had to do of me like, that's like the #1 telltale sign that I am pregnant. I cannot catch my breath, whether it's like walking from here to there or climbing a flight of steps, like or telling a story, like I'm always out of breath. But now I don't have to hide it anymore. And this was the crazy thing too, and I feel like in the world of like medicine and OB, it's always changing. The last time with Bentley and even Addie, the minute I called my doctor and said I had a positive pregnancy test, they brought me in for blood work to confirm. This time around, they said, okay, we're gonna schedule like a nurse visit. They could have done it over the phone or in person. I chose to do it over the phone, where they basically just take like your medical history, go over pregnancy, like, do's and don'ts, and then send me for blood work. So I had to wait until I was 8 weeks for that nurse visit, or no, 6 weeks for the nurse visit, and then my ultrasound wasn't scheduled until 8 weeks. So for 6 weeks, I felt nothing. Well, I'll get to that, but for 2 weeks after I found out I was pregnant, I felt nothing, no different, no symptoms, wasn't tired, and I had to wait for like that blood work to really confirm. So I was kind of like nervous because I kept thinking like, am I not? This is just so weird. And Dan was like, you should just call and ask to go for blood work, but I don't know, I didn't want to be like that patient that was like super pushy. I just wanted to like go with their process. So after I had the blood work and everything was confirmed, and then the ultrasound, that was just like a huge sigh of relief, because I felt I don't know, like, is there a baby in there or not? I don't know. So, but I'd say like once the 2 week after I found out hit, man, did the symptoms come on. To this day, knock on wood, I have not been tired, which is so crazy. With Bentley and Addie, I was exhausted in my first trimester. Exhausted, horrible headaches, nauseous. But this time I was not tired at all, but I was extremely nauseous. More nauseous than I have ever been with either of my other 2 pregnancies. Like the littlest things. Riding in the car was terrible. There was a couple close calls where I actually almost did vomit. I probably could have, but you should know about me, I hate throwing up, so I would make myself feel so horrible rather than just like puking to feel better, because I just hate doing that. So, but I came pretty close, like the closest I've ever come when I was pregnant. So the nausea was like next level. And the other thing that was so crazy is I was so sensitive to smells and tastes and like had major food aversions, which I also never experienced with either of my other 2. And I would always hear people say like, I have this craving or this aversion. I'm like, man, I never experienced any of that. But this time, like the very beginning, I have been like the most sensitive that I've ever been. Just like to smells. You guys know how much I love my Starbucks. The thought of like my normal Starbucks cinnamon latte that I've drank for like the last 4 years disgusts me. I haven't had one in months. Like, it's so crazy. So, and the other thing, McDonald's, you guys. I have not had McDonald's since I had McDonald's when I was pregnant with Addie once, and I had McDonald's when my grandfather passed away. So like twice in the last 5 years. The thought of McDonald's when I'm not pregnant is disgusting to me. I won't even give it to my kids. It's just gross. And there was a time, Dan and I were watching TV, it was 11:30 at night, and I looked over at him and I was like, you're gonna think I'm insane, but I'm like dying for a cheeseburger right now. And he went out and got me a cheeseburger at midnight, and I ate McDonald's. And since then I've had it one other time, which is so crazy because I don't even like meat. Like, I don't even really eat meat, but like so into McDonald's lately, but I'm still like grabbing a handle on it because I just don't want to be eating McDonald's. But super weird cravings and just like aversions to different foods. Like, I'd be so hungry and so nauseous, but nothing would sound right. Like, Dan would be like, what do you want for dinner? What are you in the mood for? What sounds good? And I'm like, absolutely nothing. He would like go down the list of like foods and places, and I'm like, no, no, no. And I don't know, it was just so weird. So weird, so sensitive. But now I'd say for the last like 2 weeks, that's all subsided. Still can't drink my Starbucks latte. That's why I switched to chai. That's like all I want. And other than that, I haven't really had like any more aversions or sensitivities to food, any more like real cravings. But I will say I've probably eaten the worst with this pregnancy than I ever have like in my life, because that's one of those things, like when you're pregnant, I don't feel like you should deprive yourself of anything. And so like there's been times where I'm like, I want mozzarella sticks, and like I said, McDonald's, and like there's just things like Girl Scout cookies. Usually I have major control, and now I just don't. So if I gain like twice the weight that I've gained in the last 2 pregnancies, it will totally make sense to me. But it's my last pregnancy and I'm not gonna deprive myself, but yeah, that's been really interesting. But other than that, my boobs have grown a little bit, which is also very weird because that's never happened to me. My last 2 pregnancies, they stayed the exact same size, but they have gotten bigger and they're very sore. Here I am going into the 2nd trimester, and I'd say I'm feeling really good. At the same time though, I feel like because we have the other 3 kids and our schedules are so busy, I don't have time to like be tired and obsess over food and like feel pregnant. Like, it's just so crazy. I don't know. And some nights I sit down on the couch to watch TV and I could just fall asleep, and I'm like, man, why am I so tired? Oh yeah, because I'm pregnant. Like, it's just so crazy how different it is, this 3rd pregnancy versus even the last one. So yeah, I think that's really all I could tell you up to this point. I'm excited that Bentley will be close in age with this child. I've always wanted my kids close in age, although I said that, and then I was really happy that there was the age gap that there is between Bentley and Addie, because she's been such a help with Bentley, especially when he was little. And even though they're 4 years apart, like they're still so close, and it's just been nice having like that break in between. So I am a little bit nervous, even though this is what I've always kind of wanted or assumed I would have, is like my kids close. I'm a little bit nervous, and I think I'm gonna start trying potty training with Bentley like way sooner than I probably would have otherwise, because to have 2 kids in diapers stresses me out. But I know that like this is a normal thing and a ton of people have their kids close in age, but this will be a whole new ball game. And then I think about, like, I'm due in August, kids start school in September, and I think about how crazy our schedules are now, and the thought of like having a newborn, I don't know, kind of scares me a little bit, but I know we will be fine. Like Bentley is so chill, so laid back. I feel like he's kind of just taken on the role of like being the easiest child ever. Like I pretty much have to wake him every day to go pick up the kids. He goes down to sleep perfectly. He's the best sleeper. And I feel like now with this new baby, like they could be keeping me up all night, and then I'm gonna have to take him or her in the morning to school. And what if they don't nap? Like that part stresses me out. If I could get like a clone of Bentley, we'll be good. But I feel like I'm gonna get like the opposite of Bentley. So I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm also really excited, like I said, just to know that this baby will like complete our family. I'm just excited. And it's crazy because they always say like when you know, you'll know when you're done. And I haven't even had the baby yet, and I just feel like complete with this child. It's just the craziest feeling. Like I feel like this is the final puzzle piece. So I'll stand up, show you my belly. I don't have very much of a belly yet. I'm still fitting into my normal pants, but right now it just kind of looks like a burrito that I just ate. I'm gonna put in some clips at the end. My friend Jackie came over. She's an amazing photographer. She took some just like really fun, nice, casual family photos of us to announce the baby. I'm just excited to share the news with you guys, and I'm gonna take you on this journey. I think I'm gonna definitely document this pregnancy more than I probably ever did with the last 2, just because it is my last and I wanna have it documented. And it's also kind of nice to just like look back and compare like the size of my belly and where I am with the other 2, and I'm super out of breath. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video and this little surprise, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.